Hi everybody, sanibonani. Welcome to my channel. Igama lami Mdletshe, and on this channel siyaye sikhulume ngama reality TV shows ethu ala eMzansi senza ama reviews oma recaps, and boy have I got a review for you. Siyaphinda ke futhi sikhulume ngama celebrities kanye nama YouTubers ethu ala eMzansi. If it's your first time joining me today, or you've been around and you think this is the day you become part of this family, there's a subscribe button la ngezansi ke. There's many ways to support the channel. There's a like button that supports a video so much. There's a thanks button. There are adverts on this video, which please watch some, and thank you so much to everybody that has been doing so, because it shows in the way that the channel has been growing. Listen, you guys, of course, you already know that I've said that Mdletshe, I think, is the best host that we have had so far, but it does not mean that I do not have any criticisms for him when it came to the way that he hosted this reunion. I loved the fact that part 2 was even better than part 1. As good as part 1 was, part 2 was even better, so I love that, you guys. I enjoyed it. I could watch that reunion again and again and again, because I really honestly did enjoy it. I love the fact that we got some apologies from the ladies, because when you apologize, honestly, saying sorry for something that you did or said, or for the way that you behaved, it takes a level of maturity, and you have to be taking accountability for your action. And if you get to a point where you feel like, what, I need to apologize for that, it's a great thing for you. It's a great thing for your growth as well. So I like the fact that we were getting to that point with these women. This was a very, very petty season of Real Housewives of Durban. It was petty, it was toxic, it was all things negative, you guys. And that's the thing about reality shows, that the more toxic and the more petty it is, it seems like the more the viewers enjoy it. It's just that toxic thing when it comes to reality shows. That's why I understand people that say that reality shows are trashy TV. It is basically because when it's peaceful and people are matured and all of that, it's not as enjoyable. And I feel like that's why we enjoy this season so much. But when you get to a point where people are able to take accountability for the things they said and did, and the way that they behaved, and they're able to apologize, I love that. There were a lot of apologies that were thrown around. I mean, it depends on you as a viewer whether you believe that some of the apologies were genuine or not. And this is a criticism that I would have for Mdletshe. I feel like sometimes when you get to a point where you get to the apologies too early in the reunion, then there's information that you're not gonna get out of the women, because once you apologize to somebody for something and then later on you are asked about something, like for an example Sorisha, I understand why the receipts were never revealed, because the apologies came before he asked for the receipts. So if you are going to require apologies, ask for apologies at the end of the show, so that we get everything that we can get from the show, and then we can get to a point where we're like, okay, where do we stand with these friendships? Okay. Also, you guys, another criticism for me is the fact that I do feel like Mdletshe was intimidated by two of the women on the show. I feel like the only husband that was there, from the way that I read how they were at the reunion, is Kelvin. Kelvin was definitely there at the reunion. If you watch Jojo very closely, she looks at the corner every time she says something. Every time she reacts something, she looks at the corner. I feel like Kelvin was right there, standing there to assure his wife. And I feel like he knows that when he's not there, then his wife is gonna throw her toys and probably almost injure people here. So he was there for his wife. But I feel like his presence was not only felt by Jojo, but was felt by Mdletshe. And I do feel like in times where he needed to go hard on Jojo and hold Jojo accountable, he went easy on her. And I feel like his presence, Kelvin, must have affected her. I am convinced that Kelvin was standing right at the corner, okay? Also, I do feel like Mdletshe didn't go hard on Sorisha. I don't feel like he did. I feel like when he was confronting Sorisha about not telling Annie that Usane had already confessed what she had said about Annie, and why she did not tell her friend, that he did not go as hard. She gave an easy answer and he went with it. I did not like that. And also, I feel like when it came to the receipts, I feel like his strategy to get the receipts out of Sorisha did not work. But that is because also he did not go hard to say, listen, you said you were going to bring the receipts. Where are the receipts? This is the thing, you guys. Mdletshe is from Durban. From what I've heard, he's from Umlazi. And I believe because he probably has a lot of business that he does around Durban. He probably has gigs that, he has around Durban, and Calvin and Vivian are powerful business people in Durban. It's one of the few people that run Durban, and of course, if you're not going to treat their wives in a kind way, you're not going to be able to work around Durban. I think that those are the things that could affect him, even though he might not outwardly say, what, I'm actually scared of these two housewives. I feel like personally, I am convinced that that is the reason that the underlying reason that he wasn't really going hard on holding those two people accountable, because with the others he got as much as he could possibly get from all of them. Excuse me, guys. So you guys, right at the beginning of the reunion, of course, we get him asking about the spiritual journeys, Zika Nonku and Usli. We all know that journey is Nonku. Any chance she gets, uzobiza uJesu, uzobiza uNkulunkulu, uyabo. So this is what Usli said she feels about uNonku and the whole thing of her saying uNkulunkulu uzomela, uNkulunkulu is her representative and all of that. Usli says because she feels like uNonku every time she has to take accountability for something, she will refer to God, as if the others, of course, don't have God in them, or uNkulunkulu bona akabameli, And I like her answer kaNonku, you guys, where she says, listen, I really have a hard time sometimes communicating my thoughts and feelings on things. I do feel like uNonku struggles to articulate her thoughts, and I don't feel like it's necessarily the fact that mhlambe akakhulumi fluent English. Of course, sometimes she struggles with English, but I feel like sometimes you can be articulate without being fluent in English, and even in your own language, because most of the conflict was between Usli and Nonku, so she could have just spoken it's Zulu. Her conflicts with Umbali, she could have just spoken Ilokuza and Zulu. I don't think there's anything on the show where they say you have to speak English, but I do feel like she just struggles to articulate herself, and I feel like a lot of the times that's what's going on. And she said that herself. She was like, guys, I struggle to articulate myself, so a lot of the times I feel like, let me just let God do it for me, but the thing is, then God doesn't immediately communicate with the other women so that they can understand you. So I don't know, you guys, but that is her answer nonetheless. Okay, anyway, he gets right into it, because it is Mdletshe that gets into the relationship castly and the questions that were asked online, of course, because there is that post that was done by Musa Kawula, where he made a post and said that Usli was possibly married to her late aunt's husband. And obviously a lot of us who are YouTubers went online and found information, and it looked like Usli looked like the late husband of the ex, and we had questions about it. She says, you guys, this is up to you, honestly, whether you believe Usli or not. I don't believe it. I still feel like she revealed the information, but not all of it. She says that yes, she did date the person that was basically the late wife is her relative, not her relative, a family friend. Okay, because the news was it's her relative. She says that the late wife was not her relative, but she was a family friend. And for a while, they did have to hide their relationship because, of course, the family wasn't happy about it. And not only did she have to hide the relationship, at some point she had to go into hiding because she was embarrassed. I don't understand why you have to go into hiding, but that's what she said, you guys, because she was embarrassed about the relationship. I did not believe it, you guys. I still believe that they are related. We're just not going to find it. They do look alike. She might be telling the truth, but I'm not believing it. I just feel like there's something about that relationship that she was in, that was not really like 100% right, okay? And maybe that's the reason that man decided, you know, to move on at some point, because she was like, at the end of the day, I'm not gonna marry my late wife's relative, so let me move on and find someone else, okay? She said she does not like the way that the relationship ended, but the guy was really good to her. At that point, you guys, it really did sound like a PR person talking. I do feel like she has had a conversation with her ex, and her ex was like, listen, I need you to say this when it comes to this particular issue on the show. So when she was saying it almost like a practiced thing, okay? I did marry someone who had been married to a family friend, and then I had to hide it from a family. I had to go into hiding because it was embarrassing. The relationship ended. I did not like the way that it ended. However, he was very good to me. I'm sure he called her before the show and said, make sure that you let the people know that I was very good to you in the relationship. It's a really complete change from what Usli has said about that relationship, because from what we know, that relationship was not good for her, you know, and it ended in the most horrible way. But you know, your interpretation of what she said about the relationship might be different, you guys. And I like Mdletshe got into that, because other people were saying that, you know, there's no need for Mdletshe to ask about things that did not happen on the show. They were saying that the possibility of obviously dating the late aunt's husband is not really relevant to the show because it did not happen to the show. I'm of the opinion that it is definitely relevant, because she did talk about the relationship, but she chose to leave that part out, okay? So if she wanted that relationship to remain private from the beginning, she could have said that, you know what, I'm not going to talk about that relationship, I'm moving on, this is all that I'm going to talk about, I'm going to focus on my life now. Also, you guys, we have to remember that relationship is what got Usli onto Real Housewives, really, because she dated that guy, you know, and they wanted Usli when she was still in that relationship. So initially, even for the producers to want her on the show was because of that relationship. It just wouldn't have made sense for her to come on the show and not want to speak about that relationship, because that is the same issue that they had with Ulasi, that they got Ulasi to be on the show because she had dated the former president, but when she came, she did not want to talk about it. So it was like, so what is the point of you being on the show? So I like that Mdletshe went into that and asked about it. Whether I'm satisfied with the answers or not, I am satisfied with the fact that she did not say I don't want to talk about it. She answered. I believe her or not 100%, okay? I don't believe her 100%. So now she gets into the single and ready to mingle, okay? Listen, you guys, we're never really gonna know what happened on that table, because honestly there is no footage, and Mdletshe does confirm, you guys. I was hoping that they were going to play some footage and we were going to finally see what happened. They do confirm that there is no footage of what happened. The only thing that knows what happened at that table is the table, okay? So obviously they had to play it back, okay? Guys, it's the same story. Kelvin has always told the same story. I was at the table talking to Slee, and then Nonku came, and then Slee said something about me finding her a man, and then Nonku misunderstood what Slee was saying. I do believe that this likely she was just being playful. You know, she was just being playful about somebody finding her a man and them going to get a tattoo, and maybe just trying to make a conversation. But she probably did say something along those lines. And but Kelvin insisted a number of times that Kelvin told that story. He would say, listen, Nonku misunderstood. When she came to the table, she misunderstood, okay? So obviously when Nonku is being asked about it, and Nonku says that's exactly what she said. She had to say she's single, ready to mingle. Slee is like, listen, I don't even talk like that. The single and ready to mingle term is the term that you like to use, so why would I have used it? However, you guys remember in part 1, there's something that Slee said, And Uma blessed, because it's funny because that is something that Nonku says a lot. And then Usli was like, that actually shows that we are friends. Okay. So there is a lot of terms that Nonku says that Usli has picked up because they've been friends before. So I feel like her excuse, it doesn't hold here for her to say, I wouldn't have said single and ready to mingle because that's not how I talk. But you have said before that now you talk like Nonku because you've been friends with Nonku. So for me, it felt like that argument doesn't really hold. I honestly don't feel like, even if Liz said that, I honestly don't feel like she was making a move on Kelvin. So I don't feel like it shouldn't have been made into a bigger thing than it was. I think that Nonku was just being messy at the time. Even if she said it, I don't feel like she was trying to make a move on Liz, on Jojo's husband. I really don't feel like that. However, you guys, there is one viewer that said, guys, let's not forget how men are like. You know, a man will make you think that a woman wants them. Like if you catch them on something, they'll be like, no, uyo ongfunayo, uyo hlale ngifonela, uyo hlale angimfuni kabi lo nje uhleze ngilandela in. Let's not forget that part of it, that it's a possibility that, you know, Kelvin did say something to Usli, but now they are turning it to look like Usli is the one that said it. Guys, like I said, you know, Mdletshe did say that he wishes that the table could talk, because at least then we would know the truth. I think that honestly, in a bigger picture, that thing doesn't really matter now, because at the end of the day, Lee and Jojo never became friends, and I honestly don't even think that Usli wants to Kelvin. Maybe she wants the money because of course she's financially overstretched, but I don't think that she would make a move on that man like that. However, you guys, you have to consider the fact that she also dated her late aunt's husband, who is allegedly not really her late aunt but her late family friend. Okay. Believe whatever it is that you want to believe. Okay. Anyway, you guys, now they get to that Sorisha and Sane issue, okay? Because, of course, at the reunion, the nice thing about it is that there's clips, okay? So if you have forgotten what you said, they will remind you through a clip that you actually did say it. If you are interpreting it wrong, they will play it back so that you know exactly what was happening, what was the context of the conversation, okay? And so when now Sorisha is being asked why she did not tell, because the issue is not that it's not if Sane said that whole thing about, and we already know Sane said it, okay? The issue is, as a friend to UN, why would you not tell your friend? What's a friend? This girl admitted that she said it. Why would you let your friend go to the table, confront Unonku about something that you knew very well she had not said it? Because at the table now they were saying Jojo had said it, and you knew that Sane had already admitted. And he stops it before Sorisha could answer. And UN is like, listen, you guys, remember, when we went to dinner, I did not need people to validate whether Usane had said it or not. I did not need that because I already knew. I had no doubt that she had said it, okay? So I did not need Sorisha to tell me. So which actually made the whole thing lighter for Sorisha. Because honestly, if any would have said to Sorisha, yes, Sorisha, why didn't you tell me? Then really Sorisha would have had to answer as to why you wouldn't tell your friend that. So it made it easier for Sorisha to be like, oh yeah, I agree with Annie here, is that, you know, already we knew that Usane had already said it, okay? And then Annie does apologize. You guys, listen, Annie was my ultimate favorite when it comes to this season. She confronted when she needed to confront. She apologized when she needed to apologize. She showed emotion. She took accountability. She is like the best housewife that you could have, okay? I like Annie because immediately she does say that to Nonku, listen, I apologize for coming at you like that, when it came to the Sane thing. So Sorisha apologizes, okay? I don't know, it sounded genuine, but I'm not sure about it. But Annie's apology for sure. Of course, they had to apologize to Nonku because everybody was coming at Nonku as if, because obviously they wanted to come at Jojo, but Jojo was not there. So they apologized. I appreciated the apologies, but I feel like I took Annie's apology as more genuine than Sorishas. I don't know why it just felt like that when it came to me. Okay, now they came to Jojo and his friendship, you guys. This was a friendship, honestly, for me, that I felt like, I think a lot of us viewers didn't really realize that they were as close as they were, because there were times where I felt like these people are just friends on the show. But I think if we go back and I think about it, after the end of season 2, they were hanging out a lot, Jojo, Annie, and Nonku. And it would be like Nonku is just that person, you know, that like a third leg, you know, or a third wheel. So they did spend a lot of time. They were posting each other on social media and all of that. So I'm guessing that, you know, I guess from what we are seeing now, the emotion that we are seeing that they're displaying now when it comes to that friendship, I realized, okay, they must have been really close. And also them going back to the clips where, you know, they were having fun together and also having deep conversations about their insecurities, and Annie asking Jojo to find her a doctor to fix her face and her eye. That whole thing made you feel like, okay, maybe this was a genuine friendship. It's hard with the Real Housewives, you guys, because of course they have to do the show together. So a lot of the times you can just assume, no, these women are just spending time together because they have to. But sometimes like genuine friendships are built, okay? I think honestly both of them are hurt by the end of the friendship, and it's hard because Jojo is not going to be somebody that will take accountability and say this is what I did wrong. But she does admit that out of everything that she regrets for season 3, she regrets the fact that she came on this season and lost a friendship with Annie. However, she's not like taking accountability and saying, no, listen, I wasn't a good friend to you, I did not do this, you know. So it's hard. I think some things you just have to let slide when it comes to Jojo, because there are things that you're just not gonna get from her. They are both clearly hurt by their friendship. She does say that, listen, I apologize if you thought that I did not value our friendship, because I felt like that, not being Annie, just me as a viewer, I felt like Jojo must have not really cared about Annie, because how do you treat your friend like that when she is saying to you, listen, I am hurt by the fact that you are treating our friendship that way. And Annie easily accepts Ilokuzana apology. It's just that person that when you apologize, no matter how big a thing was, she's going to take the apology, except for Sane, of course. Except for Sane's apology. So she accepts the apology too, you guys. But I think that even though she accepts the apology, she's still not understanding how something so small, like her walking into a room and saying, you know, she's smelling alcohol, for it to... No, she didn't even say it smelling like it. She says, have you been drinking or are you drinking? You know, to have become something so big. Which I think George just wanted them to be done with the issue, you know. And they do go back, you guys, to show what happened in that scene. I thought that there was something extra that happened, because Jojo had said that they edited that scene in that way. Okay, so the things that they left out. But when they played that scene, they played twice. Annie walks in the room, takes the glass, smells it, and say, have you been drinking? And then sits down and they have a conversation. And then Jojo explains, because, you know, the alcohol actually belonged to Uruwane, hers is still closed. And then there was the end of it. Nothing really big, because I thought, honestly, we're going to see something that was big, that was edited out. I feel like both of them are feeling like the friendship is over. But I feel like Jojo says it a lot. Listen, I know we're not going to be friends. Listen, I know we're not going to be friends. I think that if you're trying to fix a friendship with somebody, but you keep saying that, then that is an indication that there's no fixing the friendship. Because they were at a point where they were realizing, listen, we did hurt each other, okay? So there was a chance that they could be like, listen, we did hurt each other. Maybe there's a chance that we could sit down and resolve it and see how we can move forward. But if somebody, you know, in the midst of you talking out what happened, keeps saying, I know we're not going to be friends, I know we're not going to go back to how we were, then you're really not going to go back to how we were. And I think that is the thing that is preventing them from coming back to being friends. They're not going to be friends because Jojo is done. She keeps saying, I know we're not going to be friends, I know you're not going to be friends. And I guess it's because she's happy with the friendship with Nonku, with just Unonku and Uruwan, you guys, okay? So then you guys, it gets to Jojo's behavior. This is the part of the reunion I wasn't happy about, okay? And they did show that scene where Jojo throws the glass, and then of course Usani was complaining, "Oh, go see me, we get me." Okay, so now this is where I was like, no. Mdletshe must have flew like business class to Joburg from Durban on Sorisha's pockets, or on Jojo's pockets. Oh, not Sorisha, on Jojo's pockets. Because I'm like, what? The question that Mdletshe asked, he asked the other ladies. He is saying, because Jojo has been consistent in behaving the way that she was behaving, why did they have a problem with her behavior in season 3? I'm like, what? It's like he is saying basically, Jojo has always behaved badly. So what's the difference now if she behaves badly? Why are you guys having a problem with the fact that she behaves badly? I'm like, wait a minute, sir. Wait a minute. If you behave badly once, of course I can forgive him. Maybe second time I can forgive. That time I'm like, wait a minute, this is a problem. That's the whole point of this. Because she did it in season 2. Of course, in season 3, if she does it again, people are going to be like, oh, no, we're not going to deal with this again in season 4. You have to fix it, So I was like, why are the questions going to the other women now about Jojo's behavior? That's when I was like, Kelvin there at the corner, I don't know if he was holding an AK-47 towards Mdletshe, because I was like, Mdletshe, no. Now the other women now have to answer for Jojo's behavior now. So Annie says, listen, it wasn't the first time that I talk about her behavior. I've spoken about it. Every time she behaves that way, I would speak to her, whether it's on camera or off camera. And Jojo confirms that Annie had spoken about her behavior on the show. Okay, now it moves the whole thing away from the fact that Jojo did misbehave. Okay, when it came to Jojo says that she's not going to apologize for that whole thing at the trip, because she wishes it could have ended differently, but it ended the way that it ended. Okay, and here's an interesting thing though, because when Annie says that, okay, no, I'm mixing things up. Mdletshe then goes into, because he is avoiding directing questions to Jojo about the behavior. Okay, first it was Annie who answered and said, I've spoken to Jojo about her behavior before. Jojo confirms that, and then she says that, okay, now when it came to Unonku, because Unonku obviously was hurt, why didn't anybody care about how Unonku was? Why do people care only when the behavior of Jojo is directed at other people, but when it's directed to Unonku, nobody cared? And UN is like, listen, I don't hold anything against Unonku. I wanted to call Unonku at that time because really I was touched by what had happened. But Sorisha here, the messy housewife, Gavivi, advised me not to call. Now, here's another thing that Mdletshe failed at, because I wanted to know why Sorisha was advising Annie not to call Ulon, because if you want to check on a person, whether you're friends with somebody or not, if something bad happens to them, you want to check on them and see, are they okay? So now I'm like, why would Sorisha say to Annie she must not call Unonku? Now I'm expecting that question from Mdletshe, because I'm like, Mdletshe, then ask the question, Sorisha, why didn't you let Annie call Ulon? Because all she wanted to do was, make sure that Nonku is okay. But we don't get that answers. Those answers we don't get. We don't get. You guys, that part, I don't want to lie, guys. That's a part that really frustrated me when it came to this reunion. But I felt like Mdletshe had done so good. I was able to just let it go, but I wasn't happy about it. I wasn't happy that Jojo was not held accountable. I was not happy that Sorisha was not held accountable, and instead Annie and then Unonku had to answer questions to cover for the others. There was something that was just not right when it came to that segment, you guys. But nonetheless, because with the the other question he did so well, I think we'll let it go. I don't know how you guys feel about it, but I think we'll let it go for now. Okay, fine, you guys. So obviously Usorisha gets to talk about the fact that uJojo used a lot lento yokuthi uKelvin was going through medical issues, and so every time they wanted to talk to her, because I guess she was adding to the fact that Annie had spoken to uJojo about her behavior, and Sorisha is not happy with the fact that uJojo would use Kelvin's medical situation as an excuse. She says, listen, I was going through a lot too. You know, my child, I don't know, her child was admitted in the hospital because she broke her finger or something. She had family members that were going through stuff. She never made that as an excuse. When she needed to sit and shoot a scene and explain herself and answer for herself, she did that. And she feels like uJojo didn't do that. You know, she says, you are not the only one that was going through things, but with you, every time we ask you to account, you will refer or defer to saying Kelvin, you know, has medical issues and he needs to go for an operation and what, you know. And uJojo responds to say, listen, granted, yes, I understand you guys went through a lot too, but we don't deal with things the same way. So that's how I deal with the things. That's how you chose to deal with things. So she's not denying that she was doing that, but she's just saying that's just how she deals with things. I don't like that uJojo now and then will say, listen, I have more important things to do than be here. Then just live. You know, I don't like people that do Real Housewives, but they do it like, they treat it like they don't really care about the show. Because then, like, live. Like, we have hundreds of women that would like to do the show and would probably do really well on the show. Like, just leave the show. So now and then uJojo does that, where she's like, I have more important things to focus on. Girl, like, just go focus on that. Like, we okay. Ask Nene Legs, you guys. Ask Nene Legs. Housewives will go on without you. So don't act like you need to be begged to be on the show. You know, I have things to take care of, Mina. I must go. I must, my husband, my family. Then, hamba. Mina jiyang irritate leyo, you guys. So then they go into the interesting parts, which is, you know, the issue of Sorisha and Annie getting to spend time with their husbands because their husbands are so busy. This is the thing, you guys. I know that their husbands are busy. But at the same time, I feel like Kelvin is a businessman too, but he finds time to spend with his wife. You know, I know that, you know, Kelvin and Vivian are not like the same level, but I'm thinking we can compare Kelvin with Utakuru. I feel like if you want to make time, you make. I think Kelvin, that is one thing that he has showed us on the show. Like these husbands of housewives that are never spending time with their wives, and the excuses that they're working, that if you want to, you can. And Kelvin does, guys. Every time he needs to show up for his wife, he is there. So I just feel like these men are just out here making excuses, you know. Just clear your schedule a little bit, even if it's just for the time when they're shooting the show, so that you can shoot a little bit more and you can go and be there for them as emotional supports, because Real Housewives is a lot emotionally for these women. So they were talking about that, you guys. I don't know why Usane was laughing a lot, almost just thinking it's a joke when they were talking about Annie's husband, you know. And I don't know, it's almost like she was taking it like it's a joke. Okay, anyway, you guys, we're going to get into, or let's talk about it now, the issue of infidelity. And this is another issue, guys, that where I had people in my comment section saying that we can't really expect that they're going to talk about infidelity in Annie's marriage, because that never took place, you know, during the show, you know. And I'm like, no, that's not how it works. That's not how it works. It's Real Housewives of Durban. A lot of the times we are interested in the marriage, you know. And if anything happens with the marriage, imagine, let's just say, you guys, we do one season of the show, the housewife gets divorced between seasons. You know, they get divorced, they come back next season, they're single. You telling me that we're just going to sit there and just be continuing with the show without actually asking what happened? Where's the husband? You know, who took your husband? How much did you get? They would even ask those questions. How much did you get in settlement? Is he paying child support? What happened to the house, the cars? Did you get the cars? Did you have to sell the cars? Well, how far is the divorce process now? They ask those questions even if they happen during off season. Okay, so obviously even now we needed to know, with everything that went on online, with Annie's marriage and the rumors of him cheating with Mdletshe, what happened to that? Of course, they don't mention Mdletshe here, which I wish that there would have been. I wish my player was just direct in asking Annie, did your husband cheat with Mdletshe? Do they have a relationship? Okay, is she a side chick to your husband? Okay. He's very careful, Lulokuzan, especially when it comes to him talking about their marriages. He is very careful. That's why I feel like there's something about him not even wanting to step on these women in a wrong way. Maybe he is a little bit scared of the husbands, especially those that have husbands. Okay, he's not really being direct with it. Okay. So Annie seems to say, which I expected, listen, there's a lot of things that came on online. It doesn't affect me. It doesn't affect my family. So we are fine. We are happy. Okay? We're like, okay, if that's the answer you want to give us, we will take it. But we will hold on to it until 2 seasons later. And then it comes back again. That is back in your life. Okay, but that's the answer that she wanted to give. I don't think that we could have expected anything else, you guys, because you're not just gonna come and expose your marriage like that. There's probably things that are happening in that marriage that, because we don't know about them, they haven't been online. She's not gonna volunteer the information to us. Okay, so that's what happened. Okay, now when it came to let me talk about that at the end, because there is a confrontation that happens between Annie and Usane, you guys. Okay. Now they go back to Nonku. Did she keep the car that RD had bought? I don't know why they're asking that question, because she had already said on the show that she did not keep the car. And I hate that they allowed Nonku to get away with not really talking much about the relationship with RD, because usifuqe yona leya relationship singayifuni nokuzwa ngayo, and she just fed it to us like it was on our face when we didn't want to see RD did the diary sessions when we were not really wanting to see diary sessions. So we deserve answers, but we're not getting much. She did not keep the car. I think we already know that she did not keep the car, because she did say that she did not keep the car. Instead, she bought herself a new car. Okay, now we get to Umbali. And Umbali was being asked, where is the ring? Okay, where is the ring? This is what Umbali said. Judge it the way that you want to judge it. Ngishiye ekhaya, sikwi break, we are in separation. Anginayo. Remember, uqala wathi ushiye ekhaya ring, then usepu said akanayo. Left it at home. I don't have a ring. Do you not have a ring, or did you leave it at home? Which one is it? Okay, no longer engaged. Okay. The whole thing doesn't make sense. Do you have a ring or do you not have a ring? Were you engaged or were you not engaged? Guys, if separation, let's explain that. Separation is when you are married, okay, and you don't really want to divorce yet, and you're like, let's live apart and see how it works, and see if we want to get back together, or we want to just go a separate way, which a lot of the times people want to go their separate ways. Okay, when you go to separation, sometimes it's like an indication that you're actually done with the relationship. You don't go through a separation with umjolo. A separation kumjolo is a breakup. Bagu herile, bagu tampile, move on with your life. Haibo, these women will want to make a one night stand sound like marriage for 10 years. They will want us to see umjolo yabo as they are celebrating 10 years anniversary when it's just 10 days anniversary. Haibo, how are you separated from someone about Jolanai? Because even the engagement, we are not clear who's being engaged. How there was no lobola. We don't remember. She was still talking about wanting to fix things with her mother about the father thing before the guy could go on and do the lobola and whatever. How are you separate? I'm like, hey boo, separation. Yom jolo waga wa separation. We are going through separation. No. You have broken up with the boy, okay? That is if the relationship was real, because I am personally convinced that guy was hired to act as your boyfriend on the show. This is the mistake that the women make when it comes to these relationships. that might possibly, like people that are possibly hired to act as boyfriends, they forget to say, listen, the contract is we will shoot the show and it finishes, and please wait a couple of months before you move on. Like wait a couple of months until the reunion, because the guys, when the show is done, the guys are like, bye, you know, and then you go to the reunion, the ring is no longer there, the guy is not there, you are not taking photos with him on social media, nothing. People are like, this was fake, you know. So they forget to tell them, listen, you are going to act as my boyfriend while we're doing the show, but after the show is done, wait maybe 3 months or so before we are like done, then I pay you, then you go your way, you know. So every time that a relationship like this comes on the show, by the reunion, the relationship doesn't exist, which makes it clear that there was never a relationship to begin with. There was never an engagement to begin with. This is one of those where I don't even believe that guy in Jena. I think he really is an artist. I'm an artist that are always, you know, I don't want to say homeless, but sometimes they're likely to need a place to stay. They needed a place to stay, went and stayed at a place, and were like, no, we can act, no problem. But after the show was done, the guy left, you know, to find other acting jobs. So he went and found other acting jobs. But that's what he said. They are breaking up. Bagunjani, not longer engaged. Yeah, we believe you, Mbali. Okay. Now, they talked about Umbali no Sane. I like this segment because it clarified what was the issue with Usane no Mbali. Because from the last time, you guys remember, I didn't think that they had an issue. But this segment clarified for me that Mbali is fake. Okay, Mbali is fake. Remember, they went to a picnic, you guys, when they were still at the trip. They went to a picnic where it was supposed to be everyone on Sorisha's side, and Sane was there too, I believe. But Mbali doesn't show up to the picnic, and everyone is surprised that Mbali is not there. And that is where Sane even said, because you know what, maybe she doesn't have clothes to wear, you know. And then the next thing, so Mbali doesn't show up to the picnic, but when they do dinner later, Mbali shows up, but Sane doesn't show up. Okay. Now we found out the issue was Mbali said, isiqhwaga lesi esasithi sizoshaya uNonku. Niyamkhumbula Mbali said ukuthi uzoshaya uNonku. She said she is scared of Sane. Mbali, what Usaba Usane? That is the reason why Usane did not attend the last dinner. Okay. So they had to call production and ask them, are you guys scared? She said she's scared. Production decided if someone is scared, then we're not going to have that person that they're scared of at the on the table. Okay, fine. So now, so you remember the picnic. So picnic, she did not go. She goes to dinner. Sane doesn't show up for dinner. So Sane, when she explains, she's like, listen, I was shocked that, you know, Mbali had said she's scared of me. She said at the trip in, what did they call? Naisna. She says at the trip, they were hanging out in each other's room. Remember, you guys, when they shoot the show, even during a trip, they're not shooting every single hour. So they have call time, they shoot the dinner, they shoot the picnic, they shoot whatever. But in between, they are spending time with whoever they want to spend time with. If you don't want, if you have your friends around, you can even call your friends to spend time with, you know. So she says in between shooting, they were spending time together. Sane and Mbali. And I'm believing that because you know what? Remember, Mbali went to that dinner with Usane, where she was trying to give her tips on how to behave so she could get the other women back, you know. You remember that Usane also said when they were telling Usli she's broke, you know, that they had gone out with Mbali, something that was not on camera. They went out with Mbali. That is when Mbali told Usane about Nonku gossiping about Usli. Okay, that thing was not on camera. So Usane and Mbali, it sounded like they were hanging out outside of the show. She says they would even hang out even late at night, shots here, shots there. There was even a time where they were at the pool together. The producers are not showing us all of this because they don't want us to see that these two were actually close on the show. Now, when it came a time now to decide if Sane should come to the dinner or not, okay, Mbali, they say, Usorisha confirms it because Mbali was the one that said she was scared of Usane. Okay. Obviously, guys, there's a lot that is going on in this women's WhatsApp group, because even information about Usane and that thing that came out about Usane and Inkabi and all of that, apparently Annie had sent it to a group because she found the information from someone else, but we're going to talk about it now. So obviously, production called everybody. For some reason, they called everybody to say, okay, guys, is anybody else scared of Usane? And Numbali was the only one that said she was scared of Usane. So Usane says she decided not to go to dinner because she had heard Ulon, and she was surprised because they had been hanging out with Umbali. Okay. Jojo tries to come in, you guys. This was not the first time I heard this story. Someone had told me this story that Jojo alleges that Usane had threatened her. Okay. And so George is trying to say, but Umbali was not the only one that was scared of you, because you also threatened me. I even had paramedics that were called. Okay. And Usane dismissed Jojo, like, listen, Jojo, you are not that important to me. Why wouldn't I not go to dinner because of you? So Usane believes it wasn't because of Jojo that she did not go to dinner. Excuse me. It was because of Mbali. And also the other women believe it wasn't because of Jojo. It was because of Umbali. Okay, so I don't know, you guys, if really that threat between Usane and Jojo did happen. She seemed to dismiss it, and nobody was willing to come in and as ufakazi and say, you know what, yeah, it did happen. Vele, the paramedics were called for Jojo. Not even Unonku. I liked Unonku this part of the reunion, because Unonku was about herself. She wasn't doing much of defending George, because I think she realizes now that she's on her own in terms of defending herself, So she was speaking on issues that concerned her, and she was letting George speak on issues that concerned her. But of course, George didn't have a lot to talk about when it came to the issues, because Maple was not asking her a lot. Okay. So apparently, during that whole thing, Usane had posted on her Instagram about Unonkoroi. Unonkoroi. Hey. Unonkoroi vele, it's a word for WHOER, Unonkoroi. Apparently she posted Umbali Unonkoroi, but she didn't say Umbali. But Umaple asked her, did you mean Umbali? And she said yes, because of course she was thinking fake. Because how do you hang out with me? But then abanye masabe buya awusafuna hang out with me. That is fake. I agree with that is fake, you guys. Okay. But I'm still wondering about the threats between Usane and Jojo. Did that take place at all? But nobody seems to care about that. I think because at the time nobody had a good relationship with Jojo. They don't really care. Somebody called them a paramedics for Jojo and all of that, you guys. Okay. So that was it. Umbali did try, you guys. That's the thing about Umbali. Yes, I feel like that's the thing I learned about her, that she's fake. Because even in the confrontation with Usane, she didn't show that she's intimidated by Usane. She did that thing of even pointing at her like that to say, yeah, but what did you mean? No, almost wanting to intimidate Usane. And we know Usane got intimidated kalula, So I'm like, how? So you speak like that, you are brave enough to speak like that to Usane, but you were scared to go to dinner with her. I think, this is what I think, you guys. I think Unonku, no Jojo, no Ruan, they found a way in between. Before they went to the picnic, they found Umbali, and they found a way to get Umbali on her side. Because remember, after that, Umbali went to dinner and immediately apologized to Nonku. I think she wanted to be on his side, low Nonku. So they found a way to get her on their side. And the way that she could prove that she's on their side is to turn against Usane, because obviously Usane was now liked by this other group, which I also don't understand. But Annie seems to want to tolerate Usane because she's being tolerated by Usorisha. So they wanted her on their side. So the way that she could do that is to say, oh my God, act like I don't want to say act like a white lady, but sometimes white ladies, when it comes to us black women, oh my God, I'm scared she acted like that. I'm scared, I can't go to dinner. But there at the reunion, you're busy penny, like, what did you say? what did you say? I'm like, hayi bo, phela nje uyasaba. Sewukhohliwe yini ukuthi uyasaba wena? Have you forgotten that you are scared? Fake. Okay, that's one thing I learned about Mbali. I feel like she is a fake. And also Risha did confirm that she did see Usane Nombali at the pool together. She found them by the pool. She wasn't invited. She found them by the pool, which means they were hanging out together. So now later on, how are you scared of her? Okay. Mbali says that she doesn't deny that she said she was scared of Usane, but she said she wasn't the only one that she said she was scared of Usane. And guys, please tell me, those who watched the reunion, did you see her cry afterwards? Why was she crying? Not Usane. Why was Usane crying? Mbali crying? There was a time when she's, after the confrontation, she's the one that said, okay. Did you see? What I liked about this reunion is that they made Mbali work for that paycheck, because we're not gonna have somebody that is on the Real Housewives, but they're not working for their paycheck. They made her work because they were holding her accountable for some stuff too. Okay. And then they get to Unonkuno Nosli, okay. And I liked, you guys, that Umaple went back to finding out how their friendship was like, because I've questioned, were these people friends or not? And let me see, okay, were these people friends or not? And also, how was their friendship before the whole thing fell apart? You know, they seem to have liked each other very well. Nonku called Usli Megan Wood, which means Megan Good, okay? Unonku has something about her speech, you guys. And I understand it because I have something, but it's not something similar. I mean, I could be thinking of something that I want to say, but it just doesn't come out. I don't know how to explain, but I feel like there's something that I can identify when it comes to her. I can identify with when it comes to Nonku and her being able to express herself when it comes to speech. I just feel like I understand it. She knew she meant Megan Good, but she would always say Megan Wood. So they had a nice friendship, and when they got to, I let me say this, I do feel like Usli had intentions of being on the show. I mean, if you know this person is on the show, and if I become friends with this person, I will probably end up on the show. You know. But I still feel like they were friends, and Nonku speaks as if they were really good friends. And the fact that their kids became friends very quickly also helped as well. And they even went to Cape Town, where Nonku said she took Usli and her kids to Cape Town for her birthday. Usli says she did not take us. Let's be clear, because obviously now she wants to clarify everything. Uti, listen. It's not like you're doing things for me and me, I'm not doing things for you. Okay, she says, no, I took myself to Cape Town for her birthday. So guys, it looks like they were really friends. Even Umabosi, on her interview, she did confirm that, she would see them together and even posting together. So she was surprised to see what she saw on the show. So I guess people that know them knew that they were friends. And then Umaple asked about that thing that Usli said, that she's a friend to Nonku, not a fan. This is how I had interpreted it. I interpreted it as if you have a fan always agrees with you. If fan it pumps you up, you're beautiful, you're right, yes, bangene, yes, and if fan is like that. Whereas Umgani is more like, my friend, I'm gay, no. Let's talk about this. I don't think that it was right for you to do that. A friend is more like that. That is how I interpreted it when it was said originally. But Usli's meaning of it was not that deep, because Usli is more like, no, I meant like, when you are with her, for an example, should be sending you around, do this for me, do that for me, and then she'll be asking you to take photos, and you'll be taking, so you'll be looking like a fan instead of a friend. That's what she meant. I was like, I thought you meant something deeper, sis. Here I am going deep in the definition of a friend versus a friend, and when you are just about photos, guys, I have a friend like that. I won't say names, but Cindy. I have a friend, not the fan versus friend. I have a friend like that. If uhamba naye uzomushuta, but that's just how my friend is like. I don't take it as something deep. Like maybe I'm not as important to. She just likes shoot. She will even tell you, no imise kanje camera and then press it and then she's like that nje, you know, uthi sengikhathele kusho yes zimbi lezi shooter futhi, you know. I have a friend like that. I don't take it like maybe she thinks I'm a fan of her, you know, but now they are celebrities, so I guess it's relevant in my friends and whatever, okay. And then she says another thing she had an issue with was the bringing of the things that did not happen on the show, bringing it to the show. Like they had things that had happened in their friendship before the show, and then she would bring it. I guess that thing, she took someone's car and she borrowed someone's money and never brought it. So she felt like this because Pela, guys, listen, man nabangani vele you share a lot. Ukuthi mngani, listen, yazi kusathayithi lana mngani awuthi kancane, you know, kusele 2 days ngihola then ngizokubona la umngani, yabo. Many genuine friends vele niyasizana here and there. So when somebody reveals something like that, it is a betrayal. She's clear Usli to say that she's not the only one that did that. So it's not like Nonku gave things to Usli gave things to Nonku too. And Nonku doesn't dispute that, because I thought immediately when Usli says it was both ways, that Nonku is like, no, I never borrowed things from you. You know, I never asked for your help. She did not dispute it. So I felt like, okay, it's either Nonku is just over it and she's like, you know what, say whatever. Or she really is like, okay, yeah, it's true. Now I did ask for some help. Because a lot of the times, you guys, friendships are two-way streets, you know. When you boleke in commission, mina ngiboleke 3,000 rand, but still it's back and forth. The value might be different, but still siyasizana, you know. So yes, you guys, now they get into, you know, what Nonku said. I don't know if Nonku wanted to deny that she had said it, because at some point Mbali still has to confirm. Kanti she had confirmed it before that you did say what you said. Apparently they were in the car Nonku Nombali. That's why I feel like they were building a friendship with Nonku Nombali at that point, because she trusted Umbali enough to share the whole thing Gasly. And then she said, listen, I shared this with Mbali outside of the cameras. It was a private conversation. Did I think that it was going to be brought back? No, I did not. I think that, but you guys, I feel like Nonku took as much responsibility and accountability for this whole thing as much as she could, because she's like watching it back, I regret it, you guys. That is not how I want to behave. I am sorry that I behaved that way. I should not have done it, you know. I appreciated that, because already the things are out, okay. The things are out. Everything that she said is out. The fact that Usli is borrowing things from people and all of that is out. It's not like she can take it back. The best that she can do is to genuinely say, I should not have done that. I am sorry. This is where Mdletshe made a mistake, because she got to that point before she asked Sorisha for the receipts. I feel like he should have made sure that the receipts come out before the apology. If at the time, right after Usli talked about the fact that Nonku had said this about her, he went to Sorisha and said, Sorisha, you also said you had receipts on Nonku borrowing stuff. Where are the receipts? But he let the whole conversation go to a point where they apologized. And then I was like, there is no way we're going to get the receipts. Because obviously, now how horrible would it be for Sorisha now? Because Nonku apologized, Usli apologized for her part in that whole thing. And then they like, Usli accepts the apology, Nonku accepts the apology. Now, Mdletshe goes to Sorisha. Sorisha, where are the receipts? Of course, there's no receipts, Mdletshe. You have spoiled it, because we were supposed to get the receipts before the apology. It was supposed to blow, and then they come back to the apology. Huh? Mdletshe. I blame Mdletshe for the receipts. That we should have had some kind of a strategy to get the receipts. But you guys, I understand why we got to a point where Sorisha is like, Listen, because she would have looked like a really horrible person, because we don't know if the receipts exist, number one. But if they do, and she revealed them at that point, these women had already forgiven each other. They want to move on. And then when you come with the bomb of a thing, So what Sorisha said when Maple asked her, Sorisha, you said you had receipts. She's like, listen, we have reached a point where these two people have come to an understanding. But let Usli tell me if she wants me to reveal them. Because apparently Sorisha had discussed what the receipts are with Sli. So Sli said, listen, I also feel like we have come to an understanding here. Sorry guys, okay. I got disturbed. So here is the thing. So now both the women have already circled whatever it is that they were having an issue with. Now imagine Sorisha now coming with the bomb of the receipts. She would have seemed like a horrible person. Plus, they had agreed with Usli, whatever it is that the receipts were, because she had showed Usli what the receipts were. Okay, so they had agreed that at the reunion they were going to reveal them, but and also they were going to be revealed in benefit of Usli, because Usli is the one with an issue with Unonku. So now she says, Sli, what is your view? I don't feel like we should reveal right now because you guys have already circled the thing. But what do you think? And Sli feels the same, you guys. Okay. Now I guess the question is, were there even receipts? I don't know, you guys. I can't tell. I don't feel like so far, except for Intoga Sane, her not revealing what Sane had confessed to anything. I don't feel like Sorisha has been a liar, So I'm reluctant to say that she lied about the receipts, but I feel like the way that this whole thing worked out, I don't know, you guys. There might not have been any receipts, which will mean that Sorisha is a liar. That's what I'm trying to say. But it's hard for me to say Sorisha is a liar. But, it will mean that if there were never any receipts, that will mean that Sorisha is a liar. However, if there were receipts, then if there are receipts, okay, I feel like she made the right decision, because I feel like, the receipts are not going to help the relationship. It's not. It's going to make it worse. So I feel like she made the right decision to say, listen, you guys have made up. Let's leave it. Okay. Now, Unonkuge says, no. People are thinking of me in a certain way because people think that I owe people, but you do owe people. And one of those people is the hard way. I'm like, yeah, but you do. You are owing over $1 million. What? You do owe people. Let's leave it at that. Okay, let's not get into the details. I don't know what Nonko was trying to say, because everybody owes somebody, So it can be anything, you guys. It can be anything. It can be a tip that you never paid. Maybe you thought someone else was going to pay it and you didn't pay. There was a misunderstanding at the restaurant. You left without paying, and then your friends left and paid. They can find anything. So if I was Unonko, I would have been like, thanks guys, let's move on. But Unonko wanted it to be revealed. My play is like, sister, are you serious? You are worried what people think the receipt might be than them actually seeing the receipt, because they are saying, let's leave it. Why don't you just leave it? And then she ends up saying, okay, it's okay. I didn't understand Nonku, because honestly, you guys, receipts can be anything. So she's afraid that them saying they are receipts has damaged her reputation. But if they are really receipts, then your reputation is going to be really, damaged. Because really, honestly, you guys, Sorisha can afford to get a private investigator and they can find anything about you. Anything. A text that you forgot about, they will find it. So I felt like she was risking it when she was saying, no, reveal it. No, I'm like, no, girl, just let it go. Okay, just let them go. Let them people go. Let them go to Canaan. Let them go, Moses. Kulula bantu bami Moses. Let them go. That kind of a thing. So she ended up saying, no, it's fine. Then they will let it go. So there were no receipts. how do I feel about it? Guys, I mean, season 3 was already toxic enough without the receipts. It really was. It was toxic enough without the receipts. So I just feel like, as much as Ntando, but I'm like, maybe it's okay. We got enough from the season, you guys. We got enough without those receipts. So and we don't want any more things that are going to cause people to not want come back next season, because we want this cast to come back next season because they were so good this season, you know. So I feel like I don't want any more things. It's like Ntando, but at the same time I'm like, okay, no, it's okay. So me personally, I'm able to let go of the receipts, you guys. And both possibilities I accept. The possibilities there was never receipts, and the possibilities that there's something really, really big. Okay. So now, you guys, hey, futhi ayikho into that they said this season that you would think I would get away with this one. When you think they have forgotten about the issue, they get back to it. They got back to talking about Nonku saying Eni was the kind of a woman you pick up at a bar when you are drunk. Now that comment, you guys, I really was like, what, like, why? Like, what does it even mean, you know? And she immediately apologized for that. She was like, you know what? I was upset at the time. I should not have said it. And it ended there. Like I say, you guys, N is that type of person. Once you apologize, he accepts the apology. All apologies except for Sane's apology. Okay. And then they get into the physical fight. That's the thing, you guys, that I think I like that about Usli, because I was on her case about the physical fights. I really got on her case. I did a specific video about that situation, because I really just felt like we don't want to see something like that when it comes to black women being on TV. We don't want to see physical fights. I don't want to see it. I don't. You know, abanye bangalo, but not, you know, because it's a stereotype for us, you know. So, like, we don't know how to behave. We're always aggressive. So, yes. And Annie has done very well to fight all stereotypes when it comes to colored women. So I was hoping that we were going to be able to do the same for our women. So I feel like Usli did not do that for us, you know. And she takes all accountability. Listen, she says there's no excuse. It doesn't matter what was said, what was done to her. She should not have done what she did. She apologized to Nonku, and Nonku did say, hey, but but she was scared. You could see what she was scared. But she does say she has been in an abusive relationship, physically abusive relationship. So that situation was really a lot for her. Slee apologizes again. I like it when somebody takes accountability. Just say it, okay? And yes, you guys. And then in the midst of that, because it was kind of like emotionally, and then Usane tries to sneak her apology to Annie. Hi, bo. Now you are closer for any for everything. Honestly, you guys, if I was if I was the host, you know, and Usane apologized, I would have just ended it there for that part of it. End it in the apology. Don't extend it so they talk about more with any, because you know Usane is gonna mess up that apology at some point, because for Skashanyana, for like few seconds you feel like okay, we're getting there, and she's like, I'm sorry for everything that I did. I didn't have anything against you, all of that. She gets emotional, and then when they talk more about the issue, then she starts saying things too, okay? And so Annie goes on to say, listen, the thing is, a lot of things were said about her and her marriage and her family and all of that. She says Usane even blackmailed her, because on her DM she sent something like, you better be on my side or else, or whatever. Okay, guys, I remember my post Kasane about to Annie. She was saying to people, guys, please stop sending me things about Annie. I've even got pictures of the baby shower. Remember they said Dakuru's baby mama was throwing a baby shower. Okay, so she posted and said, stop sending me all of these things, which I also thought, why are you posting about it? But that is Usane, you know. And she says, but that's the same thing I sent to you, to say people are sending me this, you know. And Enika believes she was blackmailed by Usane. But Usane says, but you don't talk about what you did. You went to Ubanu Tataringo, guys. Eni went to Tataringo and went to Kaya Dladla. okhayadladla endabeni. She went to Tataring on Okayadladla wanting to get information on Sane, and took that information that she got from them and put them on the group for everyone to see. And she says, so how come when you can use and believe things that are being said about me from other people? Because those very same people, they also came back to me and said things about you and gave me things about you. So what if I took those things now? Now you took the things you got from Ukayadladla no Tataring, or you took those things and put them in the group for all these women. What if I took the things that people sent to me, ngazinigabo Salty, ngazinigo my paper? Guys, Salty was on Real Housewives. Hi, our very own Salty. I was so excited. I repeated it 3 times. I was like, Salty on Real Housewives. That deserves a video on its own. But what if I put it on Salty, on my paper and whatever, And then, yes. And then that's why she goes into, listen, from now on, you can say things about me online, but if you say things about my husband, we will take legal actions. And then Usanang is the color, guys, getting emotional. Getting emotional. I'm at tears over Lapela. Then she's like, but you can't threaten me like that. Guys, listen. Usane is not someone to take to take legal action against, because she will take street legal action against you. Street action against you. But I was just stay away from Usane, honestly. I'm supposed to tell you that way, because from the beginning, well, the stories that came out about Usane, I was like, this is not someone to mess up with. I like her for the show, but I was just not mess around with her like that. She's like, but you can't threaten me like that. I really didn't feel like it threat worked. In fact, it did the opposite, because they were coming to some resolve, but irresolve Sane way, because irresolve Sane is a very immature thing. It's not like speaking to someone. She doesn't communicate well, Sane, okay? So she's like, oh, go ahead. What have I done? She's like, you said I've got the DMs and whatever. She's like, I'm at DMs. It's the same thing that I was, saying online, okay? And she says, do not threaten me because I've been very good to you. And then Usorisha is like, Sane, you've been very good to Annie. You've come for Annie. And then Sorisha's like, Sorisha, I was busy here. Why are you disturbing me? I was busy here crying, talking nicely with Annie and crying. Initially when Sane started to cry, I was like, shame, but it's genuine. And then when Ulona disturbed her, she's like, I was busy crying here. The other women were like, it's hopeless, okay? So as much as Susanna tried to give any an apology, I don't feel like it was accepted like genuinely, because at the end there were threats and for legal action, and I feel like Susanna doesn't react very well to threats, and so yeah, you guys, that's what happened. Overall, you guys, the reunion went well. I liked part 2 better than I liked part 1. But overall, it was a better reunion than we've ever had. Of course, this reunion, as much as I liked it more, this part, I have issues with my play in some parts, especially when it comes to Jojo. So you have everybody apologizing for everything that they did, and then Jojo is like, no, I won't apologize for that. I think she just, the only accountability I saw her take was when it came to her friendship with Annie, to say, listen, if you thought that the friendship, I did not take your friendship, as a genuine friendship, or I did not treat it well, then I'm sorry. But when it came to her saying, listen, I shouldn't have behaved that, we never heard that from George. I shouldn't have behaved that way. I shouldn't have thrown a glass the same way that last season I shouldn't have thrown a glass. That we did not get from this season. So we had everybody taking responsibility except for Jojo and Sane. Sane tried some, but it was like, hey, Sane, you need a script. Anyway, guys, that was my reunion for today. It makes me sad to say goodbye to this season of Real Housewives. Honestly, it does, you guys. But it's been a good one. We will see it in 2024, okay? And on Friday, of course, you guys, we are watching Real Housewives of Johannesburg. We're meeting new women. I hate it when it's like new and most cast members are new, because you have to start getting to know them first. And then, it takes time to just flow. with the review. Anyway, thank you so much for watching this video. Please like it before Pumegona, share it with your friends, with your family. If you've watched until this point, tell me, okay, something special is coming your way. Thank you so much. Please like the video and share it with your friends, with your family, and even with strangers. Ntando kakhulu.